Thank you for tuning in. My name is Jasen, Student Fellow of the Center of International and Comparative Law. Today I'm joined with Professor Krzysztof Motyka. And thank you, Professor, for joining us today. You just went through a very nice event about love, law, and legal philosophy. I just wanted to know, what was your central message from that presentation? What did you want us to take away from that?
Oh, I just wanted you to read original works by Petrarzycki. Even these original works are not available in English. There is short Law and Philosophy, Law and Morality, published in 1955 by Harvard University Press, which covers only a couple of pages about legal policy. But one of reviewers of the book, there were some 20 book reviews published in mainly in American law journals, claimed that Petrarzycki will be, or should be at least, the main point of reference in legal philosophical debate. So some 70 years passed, but still it is, I think, quite interesting contribution, and we'll be very happy to see a reference to it in your future papers.
We will certainly take that into consideration. Now, at one point during your event, you said law should accommodate the cultural norms, and that as those norms are met, law shall progress, and so too shall the culture. Now, obviously, there will be some points in time then where the law will conflict with culture, or where the state law will contradict with natural law. In your opinion, what is the best way for both the state and its people to be able to meet these mutual grounds? Should natural law win, or should a state law that represents the voice of the people as a whole instead of the individual needs win?
You here in the United States know that the very idea of natural law, which I also, of which I was also and still am a proponent, can be very dangerous. For example, Justice Scalia, who is very close, who says that he believes in natural law, claims that natural law should not be used by courts in deciding cases, because it is very general category which can be used in very different, in various directions. Of course, I do believe in natural law, but on the other hand, I know that now there is no such an agreement as to basic rules as it was 50 years ago or 100 years ago. I think that 20 years ago nobody would expect that the Supreme Court of the United States would claim that the law must accept same-sex marriages, and the changes are very rapid, and this is why the conflict, which some call culture wars, is so hot in the United States. So I do believe in natural law, but on the other hand, referring to what I said during my lecture, Petrarzycki, he was basically anti-positivist, but he did not discuss these issues at all. He claimed that this is a problem of legal dogmatics, or theory of legal dogmatics, while legal theory must be, let's say, purely descriptive, empirical theory on law as a phenomenon. So if we discuss about, for example, natural law versus legal positivism on one hand, and on the other between state and non-state legal theories, for example, between legal centrism or legal statism and legal pluralism and so on, one must take into account that there are very different levels of these debates. Because for Petrarzycki, if he claims that the term law should be properly used to describe imperative attributed norms of mafia, of course he does not mean that these rules should be used by the court, or that they should be protected or should be supported by the state. So there is no problem of which rule should be binding, or there is not a problem of validity of law as such from prescriptive point of view, but just purely descriptive approach. While in the case of dispute between natural law and legal positivism, we deal with the problem if each rule properly created, properly issued by entitled body is legally binding or not.
Thank you. And do you have any messages for the American law students who may be interested in legal philosophy or any other topics you covered today?
What I remember when I met many years ago Professor Maitland Cohen of Berkeley and his wife during a supper, since I was already at that time very interested in Petraszycki, his wife told that what was very strange, very visible in Israel, that scholars who came from Europe usually define themselves as belonging to some tradition, to some school, or to some to link themselves to a master or somebody like this. While American students, American scholars, they were just themselves. They didn't need such an attachment, such a definition by reference to tradition. So what I would perhaps say would be following Professor Roger Cotterell of London, just read classics, even if time is so rapidly changes our perspective, even if new currents are of interest. Classics are classics.
Well, thank you very much, Professor. We greatly appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good day.